The first half of the game was a complete loss to the team, and the last 3 were a complete loss. The team lost 94-108 in Game 3, and the series was 0-3 down. The first is that the 2 couples are not born in the same country. The other 6 are not like the 3 of them are. This is especially important. The Game 3 is a game of the core NB, and the Game 3 is a game of the core NB. The report also shows that the number of people who are suffering from depression is increasing. This is not the way to do it. Game 4, OD continues to be missing. The other 6 were also hit by a 30-point offensive. The first time the country was in a state of emergency, the country was in a state of emergency. The 3-word dream is broken once again. The problem of whether to dismantle the matrix is again before them. The first is the Goldilocks and the second is the Goldilocks. Even if the red belt is 7-6, why is it that the wheel is hit again without the power to restore it? What changes could they make to the material they repaired? Will NB and George be sent away? Today, let's make a preliminary advance on the operation of the 7-6-person material repair period. We'll talk about the series first. Nick has been a bit too early to let the near-term suspense subside. I was a little late for my medical treatment. The first is the firewall of the newly created firewall. The series is not about winning the series. The government has asked them to at least one of the following. The government has also been trying to get the government to stop the violence. The game is a mix of games and games. The truth is, 7-6 people didn't. The game is a bit of a mess, and we can see that there are some hiccups in the game, except for Game 2. Most of the rest of the game. The video was shot in the middle of the night, with the video being shot in the middle of the night. So why do 7-6 people have 3 VJs? Why is it so hard for you to get it? We're going to do a simple analysis of the Game 3 series. Opening counting without OG, Nick's hairline has been severely reduced. 7-6 people are clearly war scared. The first goal of the match was to get the first run of the NB. The first time the team had a chance to win the World Cup, they were in the 3rd round. The attackers then connected to the attack using a body defense device called the Nick. The first is the firewall. This is the NBA's ball carrying card. George in Space Blue. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this. Hard is in the middle of a fight. The 7-6 is also started a 9-0 start. Just watch the first paragraph. 7-6 players played well. The turning point is in the second section of the video link. During this time, 7-6 suddenly stopped Nick from attacking the offensive. They were hit in the head by the opponent. The NB was shot and killed. The first time I saw the ball, I was in a bad mood and I missed a few balls after all. At the same time, his core distance jump is also in a state of failure. The results are still high. However, this is not the deadliest. The real killer of 7-6 people is their blue cricket. New York gun exploded on the blue board. The first time the team was defeated in the final was in the 2nd round of the tournament. The game was a regular one, and the blue board was the number 1 reason why 7-6 players lost. They are less powerful than their opponents in the 16th grade blue board. The attack was carried out by 24 people. I got 20 points. The video was shot in the early hours of the morning. NB is all there. The injury seems to have affected his jump and explosion. The ball below. He was born in the city of New York. The first is the blood of the human body. The fact is that this is a good proof of this. The game is set in the same world as the previous game in the series. 7-6 people trying to catch up. The reason why we can't keep up with death is obvious. The first is that they are not able to live in Bromson. How to prevent it from happening? The 2nd episode was cancelled and the 2nd episode was cancelled. Bromson scored 28 points in the remaining 2.5 seconds. The campaign is very efficient 14x9. He played in Game 3. The series is a major problem for 7-6 people and is an extension of the series. The first is that the government has not been able to solve Bromson's problem. The first 3 games of the series, he has scored 30 points in his first game. The first is the SGA level performance. What is more important is that. The first is that the country is not a country that is a part of the United States. The first was the death of a woman who was injured in a car accident. The first 3 games were not scored more than 20 points. The number of people killed in the attack is less than 40%. He was a member of the National Assembly of Nigeria, and he was a member of the National Assembly of Nigeria. The results of the survey were 24 points. But it doesn't mean. He was a very good man and he was very good. This is certainly acceptable. However, their hardest node is Maxi. The first is that the child is not born. This is not very acceptable. I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the series. The name towns for Bromson. But the truth is, Broms's fielding ability is too strong. He interfered with Maxi. The first day of the week. Nick also uses a machine gun strategy, Maxi's weakness in the game. In the first 3 games of the series, he led the team to 4 wins and 15 losses. Only the third Giant George. The series started almost in the opening stages. I think it's also a good thing. The body of the sword in NB is bad. The power gap between the T1 inline and the New York powerhouse is clear. George had to spend a lot of time. The first is the Brahms. The government has also been trying to protect the people of the country. The first is the battle of the sexes. He was born in the city of San Francisco, California. The first is that the country is not a country, but a country that is a country. The game is a great game. He is influenced by receptors. The attackers are hiding more and more. It's a normal thing to do. This is the first time I've seen this. We also praise Towns' performance. The data is not really accurate. Towns played well in this round of the series, although the commander's unit has no more OGs, but he can be said to be the second star of the series to earn value. He not only belittles the bloodless oppression of the half-flooded NB, the series has also been played in 34 rounds. This is even more than Bronson's number of homes. Towns is playing ball on the late. Many people in New York are killed, including but not limited to OG. Bridges Har. 76 rounds of the series. The most fundamental reason for not being able to play these characters. The city is actually Towns. The wheel is now back in the mud. After losing Game 3 North Korea, the bread coach started to emphasize the side of Towns. The city has been in a state of disrepair since the start of the Civil War. New York City is a good place to start. The blue version is the best. The head of the superstar is playing. This series. Nick High won over this depth. I'm going to see the video. The first is that the world needs to be able to see clearly. 76 people are expected to make it to the final. The players are not many strong. The first is the Stop the War. The first is the Grams, which has no TB. The rest of the world is limited. The first 3 games of Game 3 were scored by TB. Grams Moji is barely asleep. The problem is that we have a problem. In the ruined TB of this city, where are the most explosive people? I'm going to send it to the funder. Nick's reaction. The usual number of inmates is 9 to start. The first is that the military is not a military force. I met him back there. They are stronger than their peers. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep the people from being in the same situation. The story of the war is also a story about the war. I'm not sure. This is the analysis of the contest. Before the series started, I have also said, the opposition group is very concerned. The world is not going to change. I'm not sure. Why is this misjudgment made? The video was posted on Facebook. The average speed of the wheel is embarrassing. The first is the Streetmaster who is the first to show off the weapon. The government has not been able to get the money back. The game is the 6th game in the series. Of course, this is not a problem. NB's injury also affected the course of the race, but it was a brutal postseason after all. I'm also happy with the results. The next topic to be discussed is, the 6 others may be working during the race. NB is paying for Game 4 on handhelds, and when they're bad, they're bad. I'm going to tell you about it. The deal with NB. The team must be brought up daily. He was a good player in the first half of the season. I also got a debt of money. The only target is the condition of his punches. The first thing that needs to be shaped is that. I'm always smelling the NB. I've never seen him before. In fact, as long as he is in good health. He is now 32 years old and he is a very talented actor. The first is a stroke, which is the 3rd highest in the league. The first is that the country is not a democracy. We are still sticking to it. He is a man of many talents. A stopover is a stopover. The first time I saw a woman who was pregnant with her daughter, I was in a coma and had a stroke. The report also highlights the impact of the crisis on the lives of 76 people. This is especially important. He is also a striker who needs to be allowed to play. The report also highlights the importance of the new policy. The first is that of the people. Starting from 26th to 27th grade, NB will take nearly 2 to 1 paycheck in 3 years. This is the level of salary. He is also a member of the national team. It's not easy to paint. The bank is a major player in the global banking industry. So it's the old way. This is the first time. The government has not yet approved the proposal. Keeping NB playing. The highest value is sent on the set line. Almost a month. The winds that are blowing from Blue's hand have been stopped soon. The same reasoning is also used. The next question is, this is because of the Giant George. I'm not going to send you away. The answer should be yes. George certainly contributed to the team. But the same is true of NB. The government has also been trying to protect the people of the country. He also won 54 million for the next race. This is the same salary as the previous century of the league. I'm not sure. The report also highlights the importance of the new policy. This is the first time that the team has been able to do this. The market is likely to be open. The last few games of the year, he has played his own game. The score was 16.4. The first is the blue version 1.27 hypersection. The crew has been extremely experienced in the double-blind effective defense. The spikes are also occasionally a flashlight. His level may not exceed 50 million. The total amount of manufacturing is 35 million against 40 million. Even if Mars could consider replacing George with Fox, he would be a good choice. The new capital is high. The first is that the game is not a game. The contract is only 2 years away. By the summer of 28, when his big contract ended, Casso will only open a new contract. Horper is still in the new contract. The report also highlights the importance of the social and economic development of the country. The government has also been trying to get the government to stop the violence. If George is good, he can do it. The newly elected president, who has been in office since March, has said he will not be able to return to the country. George's projection and defensive ability. The story is unknown. In other words, the newly created Bard is a new generation of social media users. George is up and down. The price of the gold is higher than the price of North Korean silver. The game is played in a single game. In theory, only Maxi and VJ are not for sale. The first is that the company is not a financial institution. The first is that the government is not going to change anything. If there are exceptions, this is a level trade between Alphabet and Alphabet. This is a very unwanted thing. The answer is, the bill also allows 76 candidates to use NB's additional voting rights as the subject of bidding. If necessary, please contact us. VJ is included in the package. I'm not sure if VJ is right, but I'm not sure if VJ is right. 76 human rights. VJ's game quality and potential are the best. He is also a high ball player. The first is the sea of the sea. The reality is that it is more bright than others, including Maxi. The problem is that the rest of the puzzle is still contaminated. The main reason for this is that he is a man of great value. He won just over $8 million. The price of sex is higher than the price of sex. But if he was in the discussion room about, the company is looking for a contract worth more than $20 million, it's a good idea to get rid of the problem. T is the only reliable Grimes. The chances are that they won't stay. In October, that he accepted 8.7 million qualification offers per year from more than 7 people. The agreement is expected to be signed before the summer of this year. The series was broadcast on NBC and Nick was a regular cast member. He is a veteran of the Vietnam War, but his technical skills and prowess are not enough. The team is willing to get 15 million to 20 million. The number of people who are not in the same group is very high. But 76 people are not doing anything. They can negotiate with players, trying to make 10 million. The first is that the white flow is an asset. The rest is basically some sort of censorship. Drum and Barlow Bonnet and others. Useful for examples of race. The newly created system is now being used as a secret weapon. But the high-end functioning of the government, it's very limited. The 76 people whose contracts have expired do not mind being released. The first is the Saturday Night Live. The first is the Flowers. The first is the Sweetie. It's not really important. The point is, the government has also been trying to get rid of the players who will be able to get back to the roots in a few days. In the current environment, if you change the previous situation, after the strike, this is a huge loss.